What's up, Jets fans? It's Christian from the Jets Report, and today in our first video, we are going to be discussing what the Jets should do with the number 2 overall pick. Now, I know everyone's sad, I'm sad, you're sad. We can't just pencil in Trevor Lawrence as the first overall pick and just build our future around him and put our trust in Joe Douglas. But if you dive deeply into it, the second overall pick is also a luxury. And it's a luxury because there's so many different options that we could do at the top of the draft board. And I've narrowed it down to 3 most likely options that Joe Douglas and the next head coach could do for the future of the New York Jets. So, breaking it down, the first option and my most favorite option is starting with a clean slate and taking a quarterback, whether it's Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, and building the future around him. And personally, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, they're very similar in skill-wise, but I give the slight edge to Justin Fields, just how he performed on a bigger stage against bigger teams, even though he had some rough games against Northwestern and Indiana. But regardless of who you want, taking a quarterback in number 2 can help reset the franchise, reset the culture, and give us a new, fresh start. Whether we go with a coach like Brian Daboll, who's my personal favorite, just because of how he leads men, develops talent, and develops quarterbacks, like he did with Josh Allen, who's a raw prospect coming out of 2018 draft. He put great talent around him and maximizes Josh Allen's potential as using his cannon of an arm and his legs and his mobility and his toughness. He and their quarterbacks coach really helped maximize his talent, and I hope if we bring him into the Jets, he can maximize a guy like Justin Fields' talent and create a great future for the Jets, and hopefully we're playing as a number 2 seed in the playoffs like the Bills are 3 years later. So if we get a guy like Brian Daboll in the building and we draft a guy like Justin Fields, I know Brian Daboll will bring the best out of everyone on the roster, especially Justin Fields and the supporting cast around him. Looking at the second option, we could take Penei Sewell, who's regarded by most as a generational tackle prospect, and I could easily see him being a multiple-time All-Pro, Pro Bowler, and a bookend tackle next to Mekhi Becton if we want to build the Great Wall in New York and keep a guy like Sam Darnold and give him one more shot with maybe a head coach like Arthur Smith, who helped develop Ryan Tannehill and saved his career from the mess that is Adam Gase. There's a lot of similarities between an Adam Gase and a Sam Darnold and Adam Gase and Ryan Tannehill. And if we do that, I love the idea of creating the Great Wall and the brick wall and run behind it and run play action behind it. But I don't love Sam Darnold, and I know he wasn't given the best shot. I still love the guy. He handles the media well. He never blames others. He always puts the blame on himself. But he started 38, 39 games in his career, and he's only showed flashes of being that guy, that quarterback. And in your third year, we need to see more than flashes. We need to see more consistency, and we're really not seeing that from Sam. So I think Joe Douglas should take what he could get for him. Hopefully a second-round pick, maybe a late first-round pick from a team like the Saints, but I don't really see that happening. Heck, I'll even take a third-round pick for Sam Darnold and just hit the reset button. But if we do take a guy like Penei Sewell, I could see us getting a guy like Arthur Smith, like I said before, and really simplifying the offense like they did for Ryan Tannehill with play action, run heavy, easy, high percentage throws, not having to do too much, but also not making the mistakes, and help your defense and your supporting cast carry you to a victory. And it's really worked out. The Titans are a consistent playoff team now. But my only concern with that is, you look at the Titans' talent on their roster and the Jets' talent on their roster, extremely different. Titans have a great receiving core in A.J. Brown, Corey Davis. They have a solid tight end, Jonnu Smith. And they have, obviously, Derrick Henry, a 2,000-yard rusher who can literally carry an offense through the regular season and the playoffs and create great play-action opportunities. And the Jets, they don't really have that. So I don't know how Arthur Smith could maximize the talent on our roster. Or maybe we could bring in new talent, like a guy like maybe Allen Robinson if we want to splash with our money in free agency. But that's just a thought. and a way we could build around Sam Darnold with Penei Sewell and a guy like Arthur Smith, which I wouldn't mind doing, but I still don't have it on the same level as hitting the reset button and taking a potential superstar top 5 quarterback like a Justin Fields or a Zach Wilson and just completely starting new with a guy like Brian Daboll. And third, and arguably, I could see it as the most interesting and risky with a high reward option is trading back to later in the top 10, like 7, 8, 9, and keeping a guy like Darnold. Because I don't see, if we trade back, I don't see a guy like Wilson or Fields slipping to us at that position. I just don't find it realistic. But I could see us trading back with a team maybe like a Carolina or the Bengals, whether they like Fields or Sewell, whoever they prefer, and keeping Darnold and taking a high-end offensive weapon, a high prospect like Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or Kyle Pitts, and giving Sam Darnold the weapon that he's really never had with his career, and getting a offensive guru or like a great offensive mind like an Eric Bieniemy, Joe Brady, and really just drawing up the best plays for Darnold and something that he's never had with the supposed offensive guru Adam Gase, getting a real offensive guru, and so we could do with young weapons and Sam Darnold. I find it a very interesting scenario because if we trade back, we'll also most likely be getting at least one, most likely 2 first-round picks, and a middle pick like a 3 or 4th round, and we could use those picks to build around Sam Darnold even more and give him one last shot. And I could still see us taking a guy like Arthur Smith in this situation as well, but in general, I find this scenario very interesting, especially for the people who want to keep Sam Darnold, because I know Jets Nation is split pretty much 50-50 on what they should do, and I support both. I really see the positives in both hitting the reset button or giving Sam another chance. But if we do this trade back scenario, I see us needing to go offensive weapons, offensive line with virtually every single pick, and just trying to form the offense and make it very stable for Sam, and maybe he could become a game manager. But after listing those 3 possibilities, let me know if you have another possibility in the comment section down below, or if you have any tips for me, because it is only my first video. And as always, go Jets, and see you guys next time.